What is up, everybody? It's hero time again, and welcome to the Ben 10 Top 11 Aliens from the series. Why Top 11? Well, come on now. Isn't it obvious?
He
I'm
likes
just
to go.
that good.
He likes to go one step beyond.
One step. I could go two, but I'd like to let you guys be able to keep up with me.
Sorry about that.
Anyway. Anywho, yes, today we are going over the top 11 best Ben 10 aliens. These aliens are mostly opinionated. Want to make that very clear. This is an opinionated list. If your favorite alien doesn't make it onto the list,
It
I'm
might be on the
sorry.
honorable list. It might be on the honorable list.
There is an honorable mention list that we've put into this. If your favorite alien doesn't make the list, it might be an honorable mention. But again, there's a lot of aliens to pick through, and I think we did pretty well in choosing some of the fan favorites.
Well, our
So
personal favorites as well.
yes. So again, keep in mind, personal opinion. That doesn't mean I'm not going to give you a reason why that alien was picked. I'm not just going to say this one's the best one because it is. No, I have reasoning for picking these aliens.
Yes, we picked them by design,
Mm-hmm.
how powerful they are,
Design, ability, and how popular they were. Not to mention how much they were used in the series.
yeah, and how much entertainment we get out of them.
Not to mention, I will also be stating some weaknesses, so that'll be kind of cool.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and get this list started off. This is the top 11 Ben 10 aliens.
Yay!
Starting off this list is number 11.
Here we go.
Nanomech. Nanomech is pretty cool with his abilities. Nanomech was first introduced in the Ben 10 Alien Force live action movie. He looked really cool. Like, I even bought the special edition action figure that actually had his look in the movie. And like, he was all metallic. It looked like Iron Man and Wasp fused or something. He looks really cool. His abilities include shrinking at unimaginable sizes, not to mention that while inside he can fly around and shoot lasers. Now, the reason he's so low on the list is because, well, Ben didn't really use the alien that often. Mainly due to his ability to shrink, didn't come up in that much usability in battle. The only time he was ever really useful is when he was like actually put into the movie, where he was able to shrink down into a human's bloodstream and enter their brain. Which again
Yes.
just goes to show you how amazingly small he can shrink. On to number 10.
Stinkfly.
Trying to get the visual on our end. There it is. Stinkfly is number 10. Stinkfly is from the original series. Stinkfly reeks. That is the whole point of his name. His abilities are kind of cool, though. Not only is he an insect-like alien who can fly, but he's able, as you can see from the picture, to shoot goop out of his eyes, but he can also shoot it out of his mouth. This goop that he shoots out, its ability varies from stickiness to acid. Very corrosive and can break down various different materials. And if that doesn't work to get through a wall, he always has his stinger, which has been shown to be able to cut through metal. The extent of that, I'm not sure what material 18-wheelers are made of, but he was able to cut through it like it was nothing.
Like bread, it's like butter from butter.
Yes, it is a very strong stinger. Not to say that Stinkfly doesn't have its faults. While he is fairly he's very fast on his own, but when he's carrying passengers, he becomes very much slower. And if his wings get wet, much like a similar insect, he cannot fly and is next to impossible for him to move around.
Yep.
On to number 9.
Okie dokie.
Accelerate. Accelerate is super fast. Not to mention his design is amazing. Very similar to a raptor, which makes sense considering that the raptor was one of the fastest dinosaurs. Accelerate is insanely fast. He's fast enough for time to stop and him still being able to move at top speeds.
It's like, Flash, you've got someone to run for your money.
That is true. Accelerate is fast enough to run on water, stop time. As far as I know, that's as fast as Accelerate has been seen to go. Any faster hasn't been seen. It's not shown in the picture, but Accelerate also has a mask that goes over his face that I assume helps with some form of navigation that allows Ben to know where he's going. His tail is semi-agile that helps him move around, but another key point to realize is his claws. They are very sharp and are able to cut iron cables off of uh, what is it? A
Yeah.
Tran thing. That's how strong those claws are. He's what he lacks though is strength. Accelerate is not very strong. And he's just because he's fast doesn't mean he's not stoppable. Accelerate has been stopped many times by the simplest of actions just because Accelerate was not able to plan ahead. On to number 8.
Okie dokie.
Number 8 is Cannonbolt, a personal favorite of yours truly. Cannonbolt was number 11 of the aliens that opened up the doorway for all your favorite aliens to be discovered. Cannonbolt was given to Ben to kind of open the doors to let Ben know, hey, there's more than just 10 aliens. Who knows how many number of aliens are available to transform into in the watch? Cannonbolt was the first. Cannonbolt is not very fast, he's not very strong, but he is indeed durable, especially when he rolls up into his ball, which he does become a little faster when rolling around in it. His shell is nearly indestructible and can break through almost any wall. It also allows him to bounce off of walls that he can't break into, causing major damage. But if that's not enough, Cannonbolt also comes complete with an ultimate form in the Ultimate series, which grants him, as you can see, when he rolls into his ball, spikes, which causes a lot more damage. And his shell becomes even more indestructible, capable of blocking lasers. It also makes him a little faster. On to number 7. Number 7 is Shock Squatch. Shock Squatch was first introduced in the Ben 10 Generator Rex crossover event. Shock Squatch has the ability to conduct electricity through his fur. He made a reappearance in Ben 10 Omniverse. He's not exactly a popular character, but he is quite powerful. And it was also revealed that in the Ben 10 Omniverse series that Shock Squatch is not able to use his powers if he's insulated.
Yes, and he's very entertaining as well with how he talks and stuff.
His design has made in the Omniverse a turn for the much better from his Generator Rex design, as if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, and here's another fact: his original name was supposed to be Electric Yeti, but they changed it to this name instead.
Which, I'm not going to lie, does sound better than Electric Yeti.
Yes.
He's also quite strong.
Yeah.
On to number 6. On number 6, Armadillo. Armadillo is insane. Armadillo was introduced in the Ben 10 Ultimate Alien Force series as an alien that the Omnitrix did not have cataloged. Armadillo is super strong and super durable. He's able to dish out major punches. His armor is next to indestructible, and his arms, when he can't punch them, he can drill them, which means that he can kind of retract his hands and pull out giant drills that can drill almost through any material. And if that's not enough, Armadillo is also capable of causing earthquakes just by shaking his entire body.
Yeah, disadvantage of him, he's not that smart.
That is the downside. Armadillo is not very smart. His species relies on strength other than brains. He's also not very fast because he's so heavy. But
Yeah.
let's move on to number 5.
My personal favorite!
Gravitack. Gravitack's powers are insane. He has the power to manipulate gravity itself. And if that's not enough, he also has his own gravity. This is pretty much a living planet alien. He has his own gravitational pull, which, when he's in planet mode, as you can see, allows him to manipulate his own gravitational pull, which was shown when he was first introduced, which allowed him. His powers are so incredible that he's able, with his own gravity, able to move and manipulate the position and targeting of rockets. Those are fast. His gravity powers are very impressive and are able to manipulate how things move. The extent of how many G's he can apply into a single person is not exactly known. Um, he can apply gravity and he can also reduce it, causing you to be able to fly.
Yep.
But now,
There is one disadvantage as well.
yes.
Yes, he does have its own core. So there was one episode that had these little flea-type creatures trying to activate his planet's core to make him explode.
Which does seem very dangerous. He is a planet that can move. He's also very strong and very durable.
Yes.
On to number 4. Do, 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 do. Feedback, baby. Feedback is one of Ben's most favorite aliens in the Omniverse series. Feedback is able to absorb and conduct electricity through his fingers and antennas? Would you call those antennas?
I
All
just
right, let's
call
call
them
them antennas.
plugs.
His plug pieces. He's able to conduct electricity and absorb electricity. He's very agile and very strong. But unfortunately, turning into him does give Ben a bit of an ego, thinking that he can't be stopped. But it was also shown in the Omniverse series that Feedback actually was destroyed in the Omnitrix and then reactivated.
Yep.
He's not exactly durable either, which is a very big downside. And if he doesn't have a charge, he doesn't have powers. But aside from that, let's move on to number 3.
Okie dokie. Personal favorite.
And let me tell you something, people who don't think this person deserves to be number 3. This person deserves to be number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wrath. Wrath is insane. He was first introduced during a peace mission where an alien messed with Ben's Omnitrix, thus turning him into Wrath, a testosterone-filled alien who loves to punch things. His species believes that every problem you could possibly have can be solved by punching it. Or in his words, by punching it a lot.
And it is voiced by our favorite voice actor as well.
It also works in his favor of popularity that he is voiced by Bender and Jake from Adventure Time.
Yep.
This guy is great. He is very strong and very agile. Unfortunately, this alien is filled with so much testosterone that it kind of messes with Ben's head, making him very stupid. His species is not very smart.
Yes, he's basically the alien version of Tony the Tiger.
He's kind of if Wolverine and Tigger kind of fused together, because those claws on his on his hands are not for just show. They can also extend just a little bit and they can pierce through the strongest of metals.
Oh yeah.
How strong Wrath is varies depending on the situation, but he was strong enough to stop a freight train and
Oh yeah.
survive.
Yes.
So he's very strong and very durable. He's kind of like if that football jock you see in most cliche movies got superpowers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he is one of my favorites on both design and just personality alone.
Oh
Look at
yeah.
that.
He's
It's Wrestling Wrath. Anyway, let's move on to number 2. Unfortunately, number 2 is a tie for good reasons. These two characters are very similar in abilities: Heat Blast and Swamp Fire. Fire's abilities include being able to conduct fire through his hands. He is also able to ground himself with vines and grow vines with seeds that he pulls off of his arms. Heat Blast conducts fire and can also absorb flames. But these two are not without their own special abilities. Heat Blast can also fly with enough force from his flames. These aliens also come with a second form. Whenever Ben has a cold or is sick, Heat Blast is able to switch from heat to chills. He can no longer conduct fire, but can conduct ice energy. This ice is cold enough to cool down and shut down a nuclear core that it's about to explode.
and we have seen that once in an episode.
Yes. Unfortunately, this ability does not show up that often. It's only been shown once. But Swampfire has a more useful ability, which is his ultimate form. Ultimate Swampfire is much stronger than normal Swampfire, and his fire blasts pack much more of a punch. His seeds not only grow vines, but can also explode upon impact. He can also change, instead of vines, he can grow tree trunks to punch his enemies.
Who needs nail palm when you got him?
Exactly. Ultimate Swampfire is strong enough to take on Vilgax himself on his own. And before we move on to number 1, how about some honorable mentions? Arctiguana. Arctiguana's cold is powerful enough to freeze magma. His design is very cool when he was first introduced in the Ben 10,000 special in the original Ben 10 series. He has gone on to become one of the Ben 10 Omniverse aliens that people have grown to love.
Oh yeah.
Megawatt. This fun alien was introduced in the Ben 10 original series as an enemy who has a weird sense of humor. He
He
was
just
part of it, which
yeah.
was pretty much a giant rubber band.
Yes. Besides, these like megawatts are basically like the gremlin aliens of Ben 10
Yeah.
series.
As you can probably guess from his design, he conducts electricity and is a living battery. This is more prominent in the Omniverse series, where megawatts were captured and used as super batteries. Currently, megawatts now power the plumber base. Megawatts, if they absorb enough energy, are able to multiply themselves. They are able to travel through any form of metal and electricity current. They are very fast, very annoying, and very powerful. Plus, I really like them. And of course, this list wouldn't be complete without one of Ben's more favorited aliens, Diamond Head. Diamond Head is nearly indestructible with his diamond skin. This is not to be said that the diamonds of his body have not been broken. They have. They are not indestructible, but he is completely invulnerable. Laser blasts reflect right off of him. He is also able to shapeshift parts of his body to fit his needs, including turning his entire hand into a bunch of shards that he's able to fire. He's able to turn his hands into swords and his back into a giant dagger. He is able to punch into the ground and manipulate the ground underneath him with his diamond powers to create amazing constructs. Diamond Head is able to manipulate his body to the way he needs to manipulate it in order to complete a battle. Unfortunately, the race of the Diamond Head creatures were
Wiped
almost
out.
completely destroyed by Vilgax, thanks to the help of a familiar face in the Ben 10 series, which is another Diamond Head, who Diamond Head technically has a second form known as Chroma Stone. Unfortunately, Chroma Stone is not exactly cool enough to make it onto this list.
Yeah, sadly.
Not that he isn't cool. He has the ability to, reflect energy beams and turn them into light beams upon his enemies. But unfortunately, since he was technically Diamond Head, I kind of don't want to add him into the list.
Yeah.
Next, this list also wouldn't be complete without Gray Matter, the 7-inch super intelligent alien. Gray Matter is super smart. He's not very strong, not very fast, but he's very agile and is able to climb on walls. Gray Matter is also the species of the creator of the Omnitrick known as Azimuth, who, of course, invented the Omnitrix. And Gray Matter is smart enough to outsmart almost anything and reprogram any form of technology.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you need to say, or do you want to hit the next button?
Yeah, next button. Next is Upchuck. Upchuck was revealed in the season finale of season 2 of the original Ben 10 series. Upchuck is very special. On his planet, he is at the top of the food chain, which makes sense considering that Upchuck's species can eat almost anything and everything. And whatever they eat can be processed into their stomachs as energy that he can shoot out of his mouth. Depending on what Upchuck eats, can also manipulate how the fireball acts. It can be bigger depending on how much he eats. It could be a multi-shot depending on what he eats. It could also cause different effects like electricity, ice, and other things like that.
So whatever you do, do not let me eat nuclear material because you make one spicy meatball.
Yes, it is insane.
Now we just hit the next button.
This alien is Jury Rig. He is part of the Omniverse series. He's not used that often, but I personally think he was kind of cool. He is this very fast alien that is able to disassemble and reassemble robotic material in any way he wants. He also reminds me of a gremlin.
Yeah.
He is really cool, especially with his aviator goggles. He just has a really cool design. Though he might not be that useful in everyday occurrences.
Yes. I'll hit the next button.
And people would kill me if this guy wasn't on the list. Humongosaur! Humongosaur is arguably one of Ben's most favorited Alien Force aliens. Humongosaur is very large, and he gets even bigger. Humongosaur has the power to grow himself, I believe, 5 inches more than his original height. He's also very strong and very durable. But if that's not enough, Humongosaur also has an ultimate form. Ultimate Humongosaur is more turtle-based in his shape and form. He is much more durable, and he is able to shoot rockets out of his hands. I don't know how that works. It just does. Aliens!
Yes. I know. Should I hit the next button now? Or do you have
Yay.
anything? Now our number one.
Number 1 is Upgrade. Now, Upgrade is not necessarily the most popular alien, but his design is awesome. Upgrade is literally living metal. His entire species is able to shapeshift themselves into any form that they need to, including weaponry. He is able to turn his hands into maces, swords, pretty much anything you'd need. He is able to shoot lasers out of his eye and can take over almost any piece of machinery. And upgraded, as you can see from when he took over a giant robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that happened. Upgrade does not need to attach himself to technology, but when he does, it is insane. When in the crossover episode of Generator X and Ben 10, he turned Generator X's basic weaponry into insane weapons of destruction. He turned his rock launcher into rocket launchers, his sword into a lightsaber, and his fists were able to shoot rockets. Not to mention his air jets, which were pretty fast, are now able to hit Mach speed. That is insane. Not to mention his fists also are much stronger and much more durable. He's also able to turn Rex's speeder form into even an insane, pretty much rocket. Moving on, Upgrade again does not need to attach himself to anything. In the Ben 10 series, in the Ben 10 TV special, Destroy All Aliens, Ben went up against a mechamorph, which is the technical term of the upgrade species. Mechamorphs are able to just turn themselves into weapons like this without actually attaching to anything. This is on his own. Just imagine what he can do when he attaches to a real thing. The mechamorph that Ben was facing was blue and was able to turn himself into a jet and a mechanical suit for the gray matter that was inside of him. Spoiler alert. The mechamorphs are very powerful, and as I mentioned before, they are living metal. They are also able to conduct electricity, and Upgrade is so powerful that when he controlled a laptop video game, it was struck by lightning and was able to transport Gwen and Ben into the video game. I'm sorry, but that is some insane power. Not to mention, he just is cool. His appearance is cool, and if Ben ever turned him to him every time, the match would be over.
Yes, I mean, yeah.
Granted, he's not very strong
Yes, he does
or
have one.
fast.
He has one disadvantage. He can be affected by viruses.
That is true. But that is our top 11 list of Ben 10 aliens. If you agree with some of our choices, or maybe you have some favorites that didn't make it onto the list, please do me a favor and post them in the comments. And while you're there, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for me. Tune in next time when we will do a top 11 Ben 10's worst aliens, because he does have bad aliens.
Yes.
Maybe they're just not useful. Maybe they kind of just suck. Who knows? Leave in the comments what you think might be Ben's worst alien that he turns into. Until next time, everybody, I'm the Grand Blue. He's
And
Yami Owen. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll hopefully see you next time.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.